Hello everybody, it's ya boy Bandit Banks here and welcome back to my channel. It has recently come to my attention that I have played over 100 days in Sea of Thieves. Reflecting on this monumental waste of time, I decided to make a YouTube video kind of going over everything I've learned playing over 100 days in Sea of Thieves. I'm going to be going over everything from general advice, how I would approach playing this game with everything I know now, basic and more advanced PvP advice, as well as just general knowledge that you wouldn't know or things that you learn while playing hundreds and hundreds of hours in this game. Obviously this video took quite a while to make, so I would really appreciate it if you would drop a like, be sure to comment, subscribe, do all the YouTuber stuff. You know what I'm talking about. Anyways, let's roll the shitty intro and hop straight into this video of everything I've learned playing over 100 days in Sea of Thieves. Alright, let's get started right from the top. I'm going to begin with all the basic questions I get asked by a lot of new players to this game. Questions that may not have a simple answer, but I will try to give my best answer based on over 100 days played. Question 1, do cosmetics matter? No. Well, kind of actually, I guess. In a way they do. You can judge a player generally by the cosmetics, but they're not like some set-in-stone ranking system. If you want a general guide, this is a noob, this is less of a noob, this is your average, kind of okay player. This guy probably knows what he's doing. You should avoid this guy. However, I have ran into players all across the spectrum with all different levels of skills, Like I have ran into players that look like this that are terrible at the game, and ran into players like this that are absolutely cracked. So take this guide with a grain of salt. Following this up, is it worth it getting nice titles and putting in a lot of work to get something? As someone who has done the Hunter's Call grind and got Legendary Hunter of the Sea of Thieves, I can say that was one of the most miserable months of my entire life. You have to have a particular mindset. If you really want something, go for it, but you will get burnt out of this game very quickly if you try to grind out some of these insane commendations, so I wouldn't recommend it, especially if you're new. Should I play this game solo? If you love pain and misery, solo is the place for you. I would definitely recommend trying to find a crew to play with. If you don't have any friends to play this game, just go to the main Sea of Thieves Discord and you'll be able to find a crew there pretty easily. Another main question I get asked quite a lot is what weapon combination should I use? And honestly, there is no correct answer. I meet a lot of players who are worried they might get judged for what weapons they're using, but you have to understand you're gonna get judged for whatever weapon you're using no matter what, so just use whatever weapon you think is best in that situation. But there is no weapon combination that will please everybody, so just don't try it. I mean, let's go through all 6 of them. Sniper Sword, Sword Lord. Pistol Sniper, TDM Bot. Blunder Sniper, Sweat Lord. Pistol Sword, less talented Sword Lord. Blunder Sword, you are a Blord Lord. And if you use Blunder Pistol, you are kind of an idiot, because you might as well use Blunder Sniper, but you know what, we're not here to judge. The point is, someone, in some case, will always find a problem with your weapon combination, so don't try to please everyone. And on this same kind of note, you have to understand that Sea of Thieves shit talkers do not care about logic or anything like that.
It happens.
My fingers slipped.
What are you doing right now?
Thanks, Anton. We're coming to steal it for the damn. We're gonna come steal it from you.
Are you the one doing the big skull with the red eyes?
No, that's your mom.
It's my mom.
We gotta go now.
That hurts. There is no winning move when fighting a shit talker, so just don't try to find it. I mean, like, you'll beat them and they'll call you a sweat lord, a fat, no-life who sucks at the game, you need to get out of the house, all that stuff. You sink to them, you suck, you're never going to amount to anything, you're unbelievably shit and should definitely uninstall. My advice for these situations would just be to ignore them. They're idiots, right? Sink them, listen to them whine as they go down, and enjoy the satisfaction. Those are some of the basic questions I get asked quite a lot, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to tell you how I would go about playing this game if I could restart knowing what I know now with over 100 days worth of experience. Step 1. Play the Maiden Voyage. Please, for the love of God, play the Maiden Voyage. It is a tutorial. It will give you the basics of what you need to know, and just do it, please. Step 2. Play some basic voyages. You can do them solo, with a friend, with randoms on the Sea of Thieves Discord. Do not do open crew. I'm telling you, do not do open crew. Never go into open crew. You never know who you'll find in open crew. Open crew's horrible. Open crew's terrible. Open crew's where the degenerates go. Open crew is the bowels of... Do not go in open crew. Please don't go in open crew. I'm begging you, don't go in open crew. But once you're solo or you've assembled your crew, what I would recommend doing is just some gold hoarder voyages. They will give you the essential pirate experience. It'll give you the basic idea behind Sea of Thieves. Keep an eye out for enemy ships. If you see one, run. Remember, you're a noob. You suck. You will lose and you will get angry. So keep a weather eye on the horizon and actively avoid any ships you see. Considering you are brand new to this game, I would recommend using a sword sniper combination. The sword is very noob friendly, just swing, swing, swing. And it is also very useful for movement, and the sniper is just a great weapon to use at long range on enemies. You know, it's a good solid starter weapon. After you've tried out some gold hoarder voyages, maybe you want to try out some Order of Souls and merchant voyages too, that's fine. Again, if you run into players here, you're probably going to lose, so try to avoid conflict and don't be an idiot and stack too much loot. You're new. Once you're decently comfortable and you've got a few voyages under your belt, I think it's time for step 3, tall tailing. Tall tales are one of the more awesome parts of Sea of Thieves, so I would recommend playing these relatively early as they are a blast. If I had to give you a recommendation of which to do first, start with the Pirate's Life Tall Tales. That's probably why you're playing Sea of Thieves, so I would go with those. Jack Sparrow, awesome, awesome, awesome Tall Tales. The Shores of Gold Tall Tales are also pretty good. They're a lot more Sea of Thieves story related though, followed by the Heart of Fire Tall Tales. Now, they did just announce they're doing a massive crossover with Monkey Island, so that'll be pretty cool, and I can't wait to see those, but right now I would say start out with the Pirate's Life Tall Tales. Once you've done some of this, it's time to start getting into the real depths of Sea of Thieves. It's time to start Step 4, World Events and PvP. World Events are events that are happening in the world. They are events that all players on the world have access to, and generally, the loot from these events is pretty damn good, so these are kind of hot spots on the map where you will find a lot of players, hence the PvP portion of this section. This is the section where you will first start doing a lot of PvP, and I'm going to talk about specifics and advanced PvP tricks a bit later in this video. Just try to, improve how long you survive each time, pretty much. Including the fortresses, shrines, and treasuries. This is a tier list, I guess, I would have of the best world events, and the ones that kinda suck and you probably shouldn't do them unless you're doing a particular commendation. Yeah, but generally the advice for this section is go do some world events. You'll get into some fights, you'll probably lose most of them. This might be where you start winning some fights though, because you'll have some experience, you'll know generally how to fight back, and you'll be going after a bigger prize, so it kinda gets the adrenaline pumping a little bit. You now know what you're doing, roughly. You've gotten to some fights, you've done some world events, you've done some voyages, and you're probably at this point because you have lost more than you've won. You're tired of losing all your loot, and you want to start being the most dominant force on the water. That means it's time for Step 5, PvP. In Sea of Thieves, the 3 times you'll generally run into PvP is 1. When you're defending your loot, B. when you're server hopping and going after loot, and C. when you're doing hourglass dives. I would recommend increasing your PvP knowledge in that order, first by defending your loot from people trying to attack you, then starting to server hop and go after loot, and finally starting to do some competitive PvP in hourglass dives. PvP in Sea of Thieves is one of those things that I could spend quite a long time talking about and never cover everything, because there are just so many unique and different situations that you're only going to really encounter if you play this game for long enough. I'm going to try to cover some of the basics of PvP here, just general tips that I found are effective across all PvP situations, but again, you really need to play this game a lot if you want to properly be able to adapt to any situation this weird, wacky, and wild game might throw at you. First tip, aim for the top deck first, not the lower deck. Conventional wisdom tells you to aim below the waterline to punch holes in the ship, therefore they take on water and sink, but honestly, your best course of action on those first shots is to aim for their cannons. Aiming at their cannons will allow you to damage other players and even better kill them. Then they're down a player. And then you start putting pressure on their lower deck. So now they have to bucket and they can't shoot back. And they're down a player. And these things start to build up and mount. If they don't have a cannon angle on you, or they're in a really bad spot, always shoot lower decks, but generally I would recommend that those first shots aim high, aim to kill players, don't aim to damage the ship. Because they always have a guy repairing, and if they start killing you first, then they're going to have the edge throughout the fight. Tip number 2 is use fire. Fire is incredibly effective in Sea of Thieves. If you can douse a ship on fire, you can really cause some damage, and mainly just annoy them. When you're on fire, you can only stay on the cannons for so long before you have to eat. If they are low on food, that fire will burn through whatever remaining food they have left, and if they're out of food, the fight's pretty much won for you. And if they let the fire get out of control, it is pretty much impossible to get it out while repairing your ship and fighting off an enemy ship, so the fire can very easily overwhelm an entire ship. Tip number 3, pretty basic one, don't forget to use chain shots. Chain shots can stop a ship from moving, or at the very least slow them down, allowing you to get ahead of them, and that's just a better position to be in. If you get all their mass down, they are dead in the water. Tip number 4, if you are staying on the ship, use a blunderbuss. The blunderbuss can be used to very easily defend ladders. Just learn this maneuver called the one blunder. Wait for someone to climb up the ladder, go forward, stuff your blunder right in their face and pull the trigger. It is an instant kill every time. Or 99% of the time, because hit right completely works in this game. Tip number 5, when boarding an enemy ship, you don't always need to board. What do I mean by this? Staying in the water around someone's ship when the ship can't move is just as effective as being on board. It's a lot easier to not be instantly killed in the water, and you are just causing a headache for anyone on board because they have to watch ladders. If they stop watching ladders, then you board. But if they're watching ladders, just keep shooting. That person watching ladders can't repair, they can't shoot back, they can't help get the ship moving, so you are essentially taking away one full member of their team, which is a real blow for a ship that is just trying to survive. The final tip I would give is really for when you start getting comfortable on cannons, and that is aim for the helm. Every shot you hit on the helm destroys the wheel, which limits the helm's ability to turn. This means their helm can't correct their trajectory, they can't match your turning speed, they can't avoid obstacles coming up, and just in general, if their helm is destroyed, your ship will almost always be in a better firing position. So if you have that shot on the helm, take it. Those are some absolutely basic pieces of PvP advice that I can recommend for pretty much every scenario. If you want to find specifics, more detailed and better guides, because there are definitely players out there significantly better than me, you can just search on YouTube. You'll find hundreds of them. I can recommend a guy named Kaijoy. He's really good. Fuzzy Bond. All the big names who are really good at Sea of Thieves, where I'm just kind of okay. And now that you've figured out a lot of the good stuff in Sea of Thieves, you're getting the hang of it, it's time for Step 6, fucking around and finding out. This is the stage where you do everything in Sea of Thieves, you come up with a new adventure every day, you find all the hidden Easter eggs, all the cool stuff, you do every voyage, you make new friends, you go on wacky adventures, this is the best point in the Sea of Thieves journey, when you're finally good enough, you understand the game, and you can just go do something new every day, and always be entertained, and this is where this game really grabs you and pulls you in. And while normally I would say it would be hard to summarize these 6 steps and put it into a video form, an overall compilation, and kind of give you a basic idea of what 100 days in Sea of Thieves is really like, I think I can do it in about 3 minutes and 46 seconds. Alright, over these last few minutes I'm just going to answer some rapid fire questions I got from some of my friends who are a little on the newer side of this game. How's hit reg? Bad. Really bad. Best ship size? Depends on your crew. The larger the ship, the more competent people you need to manage it. Dumbest outfit? Kraken. Worst island? You know, this is a tough one. There's just no island that comes right to mind when I think of the worst island. I think all islands are created equal Old Faithful Isle. Best outpost? Golden Sands for supplies, Galleon's Grave for selling. Best Sea of Thieves YouTuber? You know, there's so many out there, it's impossible to pick one. Everyone's great at something. Is the Kraken a world event? Yes, technically it is. I didn't include it earlier on my tier list, because the tier list actually didn't go low enough to include the Kraken, as the Kraken sucks. It should not be in the game, therefore it should not be considered a world event because it is just annoying. I don't know anyone in this game who actually enjoys it. What's the best Easter egg in this game? Glitterbeard for sure. I won't give you too much information about it, but you should definitely check it out. How's the Sea of Thieves community? Like, what's the percentages of people you're gonna run into? 40% wholesome and nice people, 10% sweaty, 20% stupid, 20% high and drunk, 10% racist. What annoys you the most in this game? When people raise the PvP flag, the Reaper flag, the flag that you raise when you want to fight people, and then you go to fight them and they run. Why? Would you recommend Sea of Thieves for someone who rages easily? No. Last question. Would you recommend Sea of Thieves in general? Absolutely. I love this game. Some of my best memories from gaming ever have been on this game. The adventures I've gone on, the friends I've made, it's just awesome. If you did enjoy the video, be sure to like, comment, subscribe. If you also have a lot of experience in this game, give your own tips down in the comments below. Also, if you have any questions, be sure to post them down there. I'm sure someone will help you out and answer. It's been your boy Bandit Banks, and I will catch you all in the next one.